Hey, hope you're doing well. So, in last week's post, I talked about how I personally generate meetings without showing up in a really salesy way or spending, 4+ hours a day liking and commenting on the posts of my prospects. With that being said, I stated as one of the first things that you actually need is to understand your avatar and very simply their demographics, so who they are on paper, their current state, where they are currently, what they're facing, what they're in pain with, and then where they want to be, right? What they're working towards. And I wanted to expand upon that a little bit more because, first of all, it's just such a crucial part of running your business. And I actually want you to take action on what I taught you about last week. So if I can walk you through this, help you understand it, you can not only go out there, take action, do effective outreach, book meetings without feeling salesy, but you can also create very effective, valuable, high ticket offers to your clients and overall sell them something they actually want. Okay. And so you cannot have a business without a customer, right? And I don't want to sit here and say like the customer is always right, like that sort of thing, but they kind of are, right? It really serves, they are the foundation of your business, right? If you are going out there, you're trying to offer a service and you don't know who it's for, very specifically, then you're going to be selling to anyone and selling to no one, right? Selling to everyone and getting no sales. And I seriously just can't stress it enough because there are so many problems to solve in the world, right? Limitless, right? The top, buckets you could look at are health, wealth, relationships, and spirituality, right? And then there are endless, countless sub problems that branch from each one of those, core problems. And we're going out there, say, for example, as business owners, solving wealth problems. Well, are you solving wealth problems for consultants or construction companies? Or are you going out there working with software companies? Are you doing SaaS? Are you doing medtech? Like there's so many different opportunities out there, and each one of those industries faces a very particular set of issues. And so I never ever want to hear from you again or anyone else that, I serve anyone and everyone. I don't really have a niche. I'm more of a generalist, right? It becomes incredibly difficult, if not impossible, to serve anyone and everybody because they are entirely different people with entirely different problems, entirely different businesses. And even as I'll talk about here in a moment, you could be serving a coach, for example, making $5K a month, and the same coach making $50,000 per month, and they're going to be having entirely different set of issues. And you might be thinking, building out an avatar is, a waste of time. Why should I spend time writing this all down? I have it all in my head. I know who I serve. I used to be in your shoes, and it was not pretty, okay? Because you really don't. Until you actually get it down on paper, you spend the time to write things out, and you may not get immediate results from this. You're not going to write your avatar out and just get a 10K client to land in your lap, right? But this serves as a foundation for everything you do. And you want to make sure that your actions that you're doing every single day are high leverage, high impact, they're reaching the right ears, and they're turning, those thoughts and those emotions into purchasing decisions. They're becoming clients, right? And so this process, even if it may not feel like you might not get immediate results, it's incredibly, incredibly important to building a successful and scalable business. All right. So enough preaching. I want to get into exactly my avatar here, what I've used as foundation to grow my business. And I came up with this in November, really honing in on a certain subset of service providers, coaches, consultants, fractional CXOs. And I want to walk you through my thought process, why some of these things are important, how they actually help me downstream to achieve better results in my business, what I'm doing, my decision-making process, and overall, really good stuff, right? So first of all, when it comes to demographics, this is who the person is on paper, right? This is how you actually target them. This is how you actually look them up, how you search them up in a LinkedIn Sales Nav search, how you find their profiles and you know what titles they go by, right? And so job titles, well, founder, CEO, owner, principal consultant, fractional CXO, right? These are some of the job titles that I'm personally targeting. What do the people that you're reaching out to, wanting to work with, what do they call themselves, right? It's really important to understand that so you can actually effectively target them. Now, geography, US and Canada, I'm actually planning on opening things up personally, but where do you actually want to serve? Do you want to just serve in US? Do you want to serve in your state? Heck, do you want to serve in your city? Where do you want to actually serve your clients? It's important to actually narrow that down. Industries, so business coaching and professional and consulting services. Right. So serving service providers, helping them create their own services. Right. And it's important that you actually are able to list out these industries so you can further target them with LinkedIn Sales Navigator or other filtered search platforms like Apollo and such. And then size of company, huge, 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 huge. So self-employed 1 to 10, usually mainly self-employed. Headcount is a good way to kind of understand what stage they're at. But really, you want to know what revenue they're at because that's going to be the most accurate tell of what challenges they're facing, where they are in their business. I'm personally serving coaches, consultants who are inconsistently making around $5,000 to $10,000 a month, right? And so they're seeing some traction. They're showing up, doing the work. They have the discipline, but maybe they're offering too much low ticket work, which I'll get into here in a moment. Or maybe they aren't seeing much traction. They have a very manual sales process, or they're too reliant on referrals, right, to actually help them grow their company. And so this is specifically who I'm helping. Now, if I were to help the exact same coaches, consultants, and they're making $25K a month, if they're making $50K a month, then this current state and goal state would look very, very different. So even if you're serving the same person, it's incredibly, incredibly important that you actually narrow down on serving a certain revenue range, okay? I cannot stress that enough because it's going to give you entirely different types of people. So getting specific on that is very helpful. If you can know the revenue, that's great. A good secondary tell of the size of their company or what stage they're at is how many employees they have, right? Most coaches, consultants, if they're making $10K a month, maybe they have one, maybe two employees, total at max. But if they're beyond that, you can assume they're doing a little bit better than that. Okay. So where do they hang out? This is huge to actually get in front of them. Okay. So I know a lot of them are on LinkedIn, reaching out to companies, offering personal services, some on school, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, watching YouTube videos for education, email, Crunchbase, entrepreneur tech startup podcasts, right? Where they get their information, where they're learning from. This is where they're spending their time. And you want to know where they're spending their time when they're doing business activities, and then also where they're spending their free time, their personal time. But mainly on LinkedIn, and this is incredibly, incredibly important to know how to actually reach out and target them, how to actually get in front of them and sell to them. You might be trying to sell them on TikTok, but they just don't spend their time there, right? So it just doesn't make sense. And then who they look up to. This is also really important. Gary Vee, Simon Sinek, Alex Hormozi, Mel Robbins, really important to know not only what type of content resonates with them, but also, what are they learning? What are they getting educated with? Because a lot of these creators, they're actually setting the meta or the current business, overall plan that everyone is using and executing. Alex Hormozi drops a book on leads. Everyone's going to be using his strategies. So he's almost defining the meta in a certain way of what people are going to be using, how they're showing up. So understanding this is really important. Also being able to understand what content they resonate with is extremely important. Okay. Now let's move on to the next pieces here, and I'll try to move a little bit quicker. So current state. So this is where they are. This is before working with me, right? What challenges are they facing? Why would they want to consider working with me? What issues are they facing? Why do they need help, right? And so KPIs and metrics, MRR less than 5K, maybe they have a high churn rate, they're offering a commoditized service, maybe they're doing a lot of manual processes, a lot of manual sales, manual client delivery, only getting business from referrals, right? These are kind of what their metrics look like. And processes and activities here are really important. Totally unsystematic. Every day is a little bit different. A lot of client work they do themselves, no productization. They're not creating any resources, any documents. Maybe they're doing networking events around the clock, hoping and praying for client referrals, right? I know I used to be in that situation a long time ago. Likely they don't even know what to do, so they aren't doing anything, right? So they're running in circles and uncertain. They're selling to everyone that has a pulse, regardless of qualifications. They don't have a niche. They're wearing all hats, even their weaknesses, and they don't really know what to do foundationally. Okay, so they might know what to do. You might know how to go out there and do lead generation. You might know how to go out there and close sales calls, but you might be doing everything in the wrong order, right? Not actually building out the avatar and the offering first and focusing on product and just going right into sales. And so you might have things quite out of order, and it's creating a lot of confusion and overall no results. So tools and tech, what are some of the processes they use? Maybe they're using spreadsheets. Maybe they're using Slack. They likely haven't really done anything with funnels or VSL. Maybe they've tried automation. And then emotions, frustrations, and fears. This is absolutely huge. And this is what actually allows me to enter the conversation that my prospects are having with themselves and their mind. The leads that I'm reaching out to on LinkedIn to book meetings with. This is how I do it, by having a clear understanding of their emotional profile, what keeps them up at night, what they're working on, what they're working towards, right, with the goal state here in a moment. But basically, this is extremely, extremely important to show up as the trusted advisor, someone they can actually trust, right? Someone who can actually help them get to where they want to be because you actually understand them emotionally, okay? Super important. So they have some traction here, but it's not really scaling at the speed they want, right? They have some clients, but they want more. But they also don't really want to do things so manually and be so reliant on word of mouth or have such a low conversion rate on their messaging and outreach efforts, okay? Maybe you don't want to work hourly or have a one-on-one payment for their time. Got a meeting coming up here in a moment. And maybe they're wanting a consistent and effective way to book meetings. And that's really the hard part, right? Having that effective client acquisition process. A lot of people don't have it. But the thing is, they're putting the cart before the horse. They're trying to hop into lead gen and generate meetings without having a clear avatar, a clear offering, and clear processes in place. And so they're scared that people bringing them business will stop. They don't know where to niche down. They have FOMO. You might be thinking that if I serve everyone, I can make way more money. Well, it's just not the case. You actually make way more money by focusing on a certain individual to serve, right? And then maybe they're annoyed that others are succeeding and they aren't. don't feel confident, and at the end of the day, like worried about paying the bills. Maybe constant guilt of not doing enough to grow the business. And I can resonate with a lot of this in the past, right? And when you're serving your avatar, it can almost be a past version of yourself. You're wanting to help them from experiences that you've gone through, right? I say that quite often. And this is something that I personally dealt with and have also talked with clients in the past. And it's been things that they have dealt with and are currently dealing with. So it's really important to capture the conversations that they're actually having with themselves in their mind, okay? And so finally, the goal state. So what do they want? What are they working towards? Why are they showing up in the business? Why are they an entrepreneur? Like, we really need to understand this. And so they want consistent 10 to 20K months at least, right? Beyond that would be great. Higher reply rates on their messaging, meeting book rates, closing rates. They have a high ticket offer, coaching-based offer. It's unique. It's value-packed. It's transformational. They're offering a high-value service, delivered at a low cost. They have resources and documents and things that productize. They're able to just deliver great results at scale. Maybe 1 to 2 employees, part-time or virtual, okay? And so, they also have complete clarity in their actions they need to take every day to succeed. They're confident in their service offering, the results they deliver, right? So I'll kind of break this down a little bit more. I won't go into all of it, but their outreach process is streamlined and consistent, offering insane value with lead magnets and content they're creating. They're really confident in the positive impact they're having. And, they're effectively balancing client delivery and sales with time to spare. And really, they have freedom, right? They have location, financial, and time freedom. They're working with the clients they want, and they're effortlessly attracting more. And overall, they have complete clarity and confidence in their sales and marketing strategies to execute them on a daily basis and reach success. So I know I went into this quite a bit of detail, but it's really important to kind of flesh out this overall profile because this is the foundation of my business. This is the foundation of how I create content. This is the foundation of how I do outreach, how I create offers. I have this in mind who I'm reaching out to. It's not quite beginners. Those who are a little bit more established, they have, a nice pair of shoes on their feet. I don't know if that's even the right word to say, but maybe they're just having some issues, some confusion. They have the energy, they have the ethic, but they're just not quite seeing traction, right? And so with that being said, creating this for your own business is incredibly, incredibly important. In fact, I recommend you go do it now. You can literally just take some of these examples that I've used. If it's similar to yourself, you can take these certain indicators and fill it out. Even if it's just basic to start, right? You need to start this process somewhere, okay? And so with that being said, once you do that, I want you to validate this. Talk to at least 5 to 10 people to really validate it, that fit your avatar profile, because you could be maybe 70% of the way there, 75%. You could be entirely off base. You could be spot on for all we know, but you won't know until you actually get the seal of approval from the avatars that you actually talk to out in the field. And it could be your colleagues, it could be friends, it could be strangers, it could be past or current clients, right? Just make sure you actually validate this, and then you're able to start doing some really amazing things with this process. So that being said, that is how I actually develop an avatar at the core. There's a few extra things I like to throw in to help kind of throughout later process, but this is really all you need. This is the core of what you need to help you build a successful, scalable business from the ground up. With that being said, if anything I actually covered today resonates with you, this is literally who I help. So if you're interested in what that might look like, how I might be able to actually help you get to where you want to be, go ahead and just keep it simple and DM me Avatar. We'll have a chat and see if anything I can do is the right fit for you. With that being said, it's been an absolute pleasure. I hope you found this helpful, and I will talk to you soon. Take care.